with We Play Bass here, and we've got the Super Symmetry 115 GeV compressor from Darkglass Electronics. And I'm just going to go through some of the controls with you, do a little demo myself. The first thing, straight out of the box, you get a pamphlet here for it, and it's got some tips on how each control is used. The first tip it tells you to do is, it says for optimal noise performance, it's advisable to set the input knob as high as possible while maintaining a clean operation. So that's the first thing that you're going to want to do. So of course the input knob is this one here. This is where I figured, or where I found out this is the highest that I can set it, and I'll show you why. Let's go ahead and crank this up some. So if you notice right away, the volume's still the same because the output volume did not move, but the input gain has gone up, and I noticed that I actually do get the sound of almost some clipping, especially on the low B. Let's see if you can hear it. See, not quite hearing it there. Let's turn the blend all the way up. Liar out of me now, but what you're going to want to listen for is that sound of clipping. You can start it out with it all the way up and just play it through, and I would suggest that you play as aggressively as you would normally, or even more so, just to make sure it never happens in a live performance. So let's put mine back here where I had it, and then of course the blend knob, it's mixing your wet with your dry, so it's a really quick way to say you like the settings where they're at. If you don't want it quite compressed as much, you can just dial back that blend knob. Super easy, super quick for on-the-fly adjustments without having to do quite a bit of things. What you'll notice is that I actually have my attack all the way up here, and I also have my release all the way down, and that's because my goal with this compressor is to get as much sustain out of it as possible. What the attack is going to do, it's going to adjust how quickly it's going to begin to compress the signal. Now, if I'm looking for sustain and I want the note to sound the same all the way across, from when it's initially hit to as it's trailing out, then I've got the attack all the way up. I would recommend that you probably start with it all the way up, or slightly off of that if you're looking for sustain. A lot of the settings that you're going to end up with on your own compressor is going to have to do with what you want to hear, with a sound that you're looking for. So there is no right or wrong way to set it. If there was, and there wouldn't even be any knobs on it, there would just be a foot switch. So if you get one, definitely experiment with what you're looking for. For me, I'm looking for sustain. So what I did is I adjust my attack all the way up, so it's going to affect the note immediately. And I also set my release all the way back, which means that it's going to hold that compressed note or signal as long as possible. And if you actually watch the meter here, you'll watch as it kind of slowly fades away. So let's watch. And if you turn that release up, meaning that it actually holds it for less time, that meter, it's going down much quicker. So I want it to hold it as long as possible. So I've got my release all the way down and my attack all the way up, and I have the compression all the way up, and I'm just setting how much compression I want by using the blend knob. And one of the first discernible differences that you'll note about the compressor is I use pretty much only ever use finger plucking. I don't use much pick. So that's what I'm listening for, is to make sure that as I'm plugging between different strings, different octaves, and moving around the bass, that all of the notes that I hit are about the same gain or same volume. Let's click it off real quick. And I'm just going to go back and forth between octaves and just listen to the difference in volume between the low octave and the high octave. It sounds like that high octave is actually getting a little bit more gain and it's rising above that low octave. But let's kick the compressor on. And it definitely sounds to me like it's leveling it out. It's bringing that really high octave down so it's not spiking up on the initial hit. So that's one thing that I'm looking for in my sound as I'm setting the compressor. So you really need to decide for yourself what you're looking for to get out of the compressor, and then just follow the instructions that they have on each knob on how to set it for yourself. I love this pedal. I definitely recommend it. It's very clean operation. If you just listen closely for any kind of hiss as I turn the volumes up. It's not very much at all, just as much as you would expect from just turning the volume up. Clicking it on and off. Hardly any. The previous pedal I was using, that was a CS3 modded for bass. It definitely had a lot more noise, so I'm very thankful that this one is very quiet in operation. Let's just listen to some of the sustain that's on here right now, the difference, so you can hear that. We'll turn it off here and we'll just hit a low D. I know there's a lot of 5-string bass players out there and you're interested on seeing how it sounds with that 5th string. So let's go on a low D here. So as you expect with a low B, you got the initial hit and then the gain, the volume tapers off pretty quickly. Let's turn this on. I can definitely tell a huge discernible difference in the rate that the note decays. It's definitely sustaining longer, and it allows for that playing notes on that low B to stay in there longer, and you don't feel like you have to keep refreshing the note if you're just trying to do whole notes, say in softer songs or something like that. So very grateful for that. And as you move up the strings, it still comes out the same way, same results, just really great sustain. If you're wondering about my tone and my signal chain, all I've got right now is my bass, which is my Ibanez BTB with stock Bartolini, stock electronics, going through a Sans amp, and that's into my GK MB200 head, into the Ampeg SVT210 AV. So nothing crazy going on, just the Sans amp that's giving a little bit of a grit. Let's turn that off real quick. And you can try to hear some of the natural character. I've got flat EQ on the bass, flat EQ on the head. And you can kind of hear the character that they've kind of built in to the Super Symmetry here. Let's turn this up a little bit. even just with the compressor itself, if you're looking for a little bit of added tone, a little bit of a vintage sound, it does have some slight characteristics in it. I'll just read straight from the book here. It says, the Super Symmetry offers all the transparency and precision of a modern compressor with the twist that its inherent envelope effect is reminiscent of old school compressors. I would definitely validate that right there just with this sound that you can hear. So again, I definitely recommend it. I'm a huge fan. Darkglass, great job guys. I look forward to trying out some of the other stuff in the future. Thanks for checking out the video. Be sure to see what else we got on YouTube. Check out the website, weplaybass.com. You can sign the wall, let us know what kind of bass and gear you have. Let us know you've been there. There's also some discounts on there for some really great partners of ours, GeV Pedals, Lugville Bags, and BMT Custom Guitars. All great companies, great people that I definitely recommend as well. So check it out, and as always, work hard, play bass.